Javier, I'm very pleased to have you on board today. I'm very thankful for Aerges' participation today on on today's air show. I know it's been a long time since we've been planning this out, and I'm very thankful that you have not only come to that interview with us, but also have provided us some images that no one has seen yet from the upcoming module Mirage F1 that I know that you are working very hard on. Of course. Well, we have the images of the Mirage F1 doing a bit of aerobatic displays. I want to get to know first who is Aerges, and more than anything, how many people are working currently on Aerges? Hey, wait, sorry, wait, I have my bad. You were not on comment, sorry. Sorry guys, my bad. Now you are hearing our friend Javier Faust. Sorry for the inconvenience, my minor setback. I will present Javier Faust once again so you know his voice. So Javier Faust, one of the coders behind the Mirage F1 from my Aerges team. Please say hi to the viewers so they know your voice.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight.
So sorry for the problems, Jens. The thing of the direct.
No problem.
So as I was saying before, I want to ask you first and foremost, how many people are behind Aerges as a company?
Well, currently we are a team of 5 people. One project manager and programmer, 2 programmers, a 3D artist, and a texture maker.
Well, of course, seeing that such a small team, I'm very curious to know which is the profile behind each one of you.
Well, at least for the programmers, we are aerospace engineers with C++ programming knowledge.
Oh wow, that's huge. Of course, not everyone is an aerospace engineer, and of course, you need to know a deep knowledge of the aerodynamics of an airplane in order to get this working out any module when you want to go with a good quality. And of course, that makes me go to the next question I wanted to ask you. What are the problems and the challenges behind the development of a module for DCS?
Well, one of the main challenges always is finding information, because as we know, it's not so easy sometimes to find a lot of information of an airplane. And also, an airplane is not a single, or an aircraft is not a single aircraft. There's many models. Airplanes undergo modifications throughout their operational life. So there's a lot of information, but it's not always valid. So it's important to be able to distinguish what information we are using, what information is valid. And also, as in any project, obviously, communication between the team and keeping good coordination is also a challenge, and it's very important to keep that working right.
Yeah, of course, we know that this all is very, very hard, and I'm very happy to know that you are doing this and making this happen for all of us. Of course, you being a Spanish, and me being a Spaniard too, of course, this question might come as a very normal answer, but I have to ask it anyway. Why start with the C101 and Mirage F1 as the first modules for Aerges engineering?
Well, obviously the reason is because they are aircraft flown by the Spanish Air Force, so that allows easier access to information, easier access to, or easier to find SMEs. And well, they are also the airplanes that we've seen flying in air shows for many years, and they have a certain sentimental value for us at this point. And also, specifically about the Mirage, it's I think it's a very interesting aircraft. Having served in so many countries and also partaken in several different conflicts throughout the years.
Yeah, of course, this airplane, this upcoming module that you are developing together with your four other companions over Aerges is a very huge investment of work and time and passion into the project. We can see as we watch the Mirage F1 flying across the Caucasus map, so you all can get a sneak peek of what's going to come. But of course, I know that the hurdles behind developing a module, I am pretty sure you have extra help outside of Aerges team. So I have to ask you, I'm pretty sure the viewers will want to know, are there any real pilots with who you corroborate to in order to develop this module to what it should be?
Yes. First of all,
Devo mettere
some
il Viper 54.
first of all, some members of the team are actual pilots, and we also have the help of real Mirage F1 pilots.
That's huge, really, because I know that will bring us a very high quality for what we have to come. And of course, I know that you are, as we said before, I know that you are one of the main programmers behind the Mirage F1, and I'm pretty sure that you want to talk more about the little details that are inside this module. So, first and foremost, let me put you, for you gents, some sneak peeks into what is being developed. Give me a sec. Viper, I'm moving you. Give me a sec, gents, to prepare it out. Okay. So, of course, without further ado, let me get you into the first thing we want to show you, and is the work behind the hut that Aerges is working on right now. So please, Javier, please illustrate that on what we. Sorry, first we have the Mirage F1 startup. So Javier, if you want to comment on this, that would be awesome.
Oh yes. Well, as you can see, or you'll be seeing in the following minutes, the startup procedure, a simplified startup procedure of the aircraft. And well, you can see it is a 1970s aircraft, still no crystal displays, but very analogical everything. But it is an aircraft that already has some slight fourth generation characteristics, or let's say late third generation characteristics. And for example, it has which I'll talk about more in depth later. But for example, it has a very interesting electro-hydraulic control for pitch, for example, which, well, has some really interesting characteristics and degraded modes. And you will see that when taking damage or in some situations, the aircraft will behave very differently to the normal. And also, for example, I would like to speak a bit about the flaps and slats system, which is a bit unique and makes it different from other aircraft, from previous aircraft, let's say. It has an automatic flap and slat system based on angle of attack and speed. So the flaps and slats are retracted at certain speeds to avoid damage to them. But obviously, the turn performance is better when they are deployed. So if you want to get the best performance of this aircraft, you'll have to keep it flying just below the flap retraction speed, for example. So it is kind of complex, let's say, and well, it has a lot of potential, but the virtual pilots will have to learn to how to fly it to maximize that.
Yeah, I know that this module will be, uh, in my case, it's going to be the first aircraft for Gen 3 or Gen 3 Plus module, because I don't own any other, and this is going to be my first. And of course, I'm pretty sure that not myself will be the only one who is looking for this module as a starter module for that era of airplanes. So of course, I have to ask you. I know we know already of the different variants that are going to be deployed for this module, but of course, I want to ask you a bit more regarding the difference between those variants, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, no problem. Um, so the C is the first variant, both in the historic timeline and for our release, and it's well, originally it was more of a pure interceptor, but it can also carry other weapons, which um, I'll speak more about that later, I think.
Yep.
And well, basically then there's the B version, which is the um dual control version, and it's very similar to the C, only it lacks an internal cannon. It has to give up the internal cannon and some fuel to accommodate the second pilot, but it can carry external cannon. So, and it will be, the controls and everything will be very similar to what you can see in the C101.
Okay, that's.
And
Or just
yeah,
please continue. Sorry.
no, tell me, go on,
No, of course,
please.
I just wanted to comment it now. Of course, now we have on the screen some images of the gunfight, and we see that the HUD is being employed trying to put the guns into the target. I think this is a good opportunity to start talking about the HUD system that you were developing recently.
Yeah, if I would prefer to finish quickly
Oh
the
yes,
two other
please.
versions. Yeah, and the EE version was thought as a more multi-role aircraft, and it the main difference is that it has a refueling probe, so it can fly longer missions. And then there's the M version, which is modernized with crystal screens and new HUD, new inertial systems, and more weapons, more modern weapons. And yes, about the HUD, if you prefer, if you want
Yep.
to talk about that
Yeah,
now.
sure,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. So it's an early system. It's electromechanical. So it has 4 electromechanical moving parts that, well, project the different elements you can see in the HUD in the video. And the fact that it is an electromechanical system will also show in the form of vibrations or oscillations or displacements in certain situations. So, well, all that is reflected in the module. And later on in the video, you'll have a more detailed display of the different modes of the HUD and different elements of the HUD.
That's interesting for sure. I mean, right now what we have on the screen is the engine installing due to AOA. I know that the engine has so many details, and I think this is a good opportunity for you to talk about them for us.
Yes, I agree with you. It is basically, the engine is an Snegma Atar 9K 50, and it has 70 kilonewtons of afterburner thrust and around 50 kilonewtons of military power thrust. And well, it's a 1970s engine, so that means basically that it is susceptible to compressor stall in certain situations. For example, in high AOA maneuvers or sudden throttle movement at certain speeds. So yes, the users will have to be careful with that and take that into account, especially during a dogfight.
Yeah, definitely they will. But of course, I know that's not the only particular thing about the Mirage F1. And you, before you tiptoed around this thing in particular, but you've mentioned me before that the control system for the aircraft is very interesting one and very unique. Do you care to develop about it?
Well, yes, it's a bit what I explained before about the flaps and
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
slats. Yeah, but it has also other particularities that are interesting. For example, the it has an auto compensation mechanism for yaw, and well, mm, it has um, the electromechanical, the electro-hydraulic modes can in fact disconnect when in in high G or more sudden maneuvers. So it will also be something to pay attention to, because flying in the purely hydraulic mode is uh, way more challenging than flying in the electro hydraulic mode, and all that is simulated in depth. So yeah.
I mean, for all of you viewers, you can see that the sheer passion that Aegis engineering is putting into this module. That, of course, we all are very eager to see, but of course, I know that I will say one thing. I know that all of you viewers want me to ask the question when it's coming out. Not yet, Jens. That I cannot say. That I cannot ask right now. So you have to wait. Of course, later. Well, I think I'll use this opportunity, shall we? Javier, I told you I would have to ask you. Oh, this will be a
Oh,
good opportunity. I know that you cannot say any specific date, but can you tell us any approximation whatsoever about when we will have this magnificent module?
well, um, I think just by the videos you can judge that it is in a very advanced state, and well, we can say that we are working very hard to bring it to you as soon as possible. We cannot give yet an exact date, but it is getting uh, quite close.
Yeah, we all can see that the product is magnificent, like really, really magnificent. As we right now we have on the screen the site demo about what you mentioned before, more in detail about all the intricacies of the site system.
Yes, I'll quickly explain a bit about it. You can see it has the classic pitch and roll indicators, but it has also two rolling tapes um, on the right side for altitude, and also a rolling tape in the upper side, which usually displays heading, but in weapon employment mode, it also displays either rather distance to the target or gun distance or reticle distance settings too. And well, you can see the Piper now like being manipulated in the different uh, options it has. As you can see, for an early system, an electromechanical early system, it is very complex and has like a lot of different uh, different options and components.
Yeah,
And Yeah.
Sorry, audios. Continue. Sorry, sorry.
No, no, no. That would be all about the hood. It can also display some radar information. And well, I would also like to talk a bit about the weapons of the aircraft,
Yes,
if you're
please.
okay with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I
please.
know it is a question that is often in the in the forums.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the CE version can carry a multitude of air-to-air ordnance, magic wands, mm, multiple types of sidewinders, aim 9G, B, and N. And for medium range, it can carry Matra R530 missiles in both the infrared and radio frequency versions. And it can carry many models of dumb bombs, as well as Durandal anti-runway bombs, and some rocket pods and external gun pods, as well as some laser-guided bombs, but um, with no self-guidance option. And then I have to say that the M version has plenty of other weapons to offer, especially the Super Matras S530F and some other very interesting, more modern weapons.
Yeah, but of course, I know that what you are behind, working behind all this module. I mean, of course, for the guys that are just going into the cockpit, don't want to complicate their life too much and just have some fun, the weaponry are what they are more concerned about. But I know that the more purists of the air sims that we have watching today, I know that you have been developing quite a lot of system faults. Like, I would love you to guide us about them, tell about them.
Um, yeah, I wanted to highlight that because so far we have more than 100 different failures in the aircraft. And one of the most interesting things about that is that a lot of them are interconnected. So mm, receiving damage that causes one failure is likely to end up causing other failures and degrading the operability of the aircraft. For example, receiving damage to the receiving damage to the equipment bay refrigeration, for example, could lead to overheating, and that overheating could cause damage in some of the electrical components, and that would translate for the pilot that some minutes after receiving damage, some other systems will start to fail.
That's a big thing for sure. And with this, I think we've discussed everything we wanted to discuss on this interview. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, Javier.
Um, yes, I think that's more or less all that I wanted to, or that we wanted to share with you today. And just like to thank you again for um, giving us the opportunity to be here tonight, and to assure all of the viewers that we are working hard to have everything ready as soon as possible, and we hope this module brings you a lot of joy and entertainment.
I'm pretty sure it will. So, Javier, I want also to thank you for being here with us once again. And of course, this will signify the end of our interview. Javier, once again, really, I'm very thankful for you and Aerges for being together with us in our first virtual air show that we organize here for us Spaniards. And what better to have a Spanish company with us to get today?
Yes, thank you very much, and again, it's our pleasure to be here.